Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Keesley.
And I'm Kendra Cook. Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV with support from the Southwest TV Translator Association.
If you have a news topic or event you'd like to see covered, give us a call. The studio number is 677-4119.
Today's show runs Thursday at noon and is uploaded to our YouTube channel and our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page to watch on demand. Today is August 23rd, 2018. And now the News at Noon.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, a Durango man suspected of strangling his wife last year in the Lightner Creek Mobile Home Park was found guilty Wednesday of first-degree murder. Silvino Martinez Perez, age 36, showed no obvious reaction as a jury foreman announced the verdicts. First-degree murder carries a mandatory sentence of life in prison. He was also found guilty of abusing a corpse and 3 counts of child abuse. Martinez Perez strangled his wife, Crystal Martinez Perez, age 33, after a lengthy argument in which she told him she wanted a divorce and that her body wasn't his anymore. Martinez Perez admitted to strangling his wife in a recorded 911 call, which was played for jurors. Defense lawyers said Martinez Perez acted in the heat of passion and his actions weren't premeditated and therefore didn't amount to first-degree murder. But prosecutors said Martinez Perez told investigators he strangled Crystal for about 2 minutes until she lost consciousness. He then strangled her again for about 50 seconds. That was long enough for him to form intent, said Deputy District Attorney Robert Barlow. Jurors seemed to agree they could have convicted him of lesser counts, including second-degree murder, manslaughter, or criminal negligence resulting in homicide. A formal sentencing hearing is scheduled for 1:30 p.m. November 1st.
Reported in the Durango Herald, file photo, credit Jerry McBride and Maria Carrasco. The San Juan Mountains Wilderness Act received a hearing Wednesday at the Senate Energy and Natural Resources Subcommittee, which was attended by supporters from San Juan and San Miguel counties. Senator Michael Bennet spoke in support of the bill, which would protect about 61,000 acres of land as wilderness in the San Juan Mountains. The bill was first introduced in 2009, but Bennet introduced an updated version of the bill in April. He was joined at the time by San Miguel County Commissioner Hillary Cooper. And he was joined Wednesday by San Miguel County Commissioner Joanne May and San Juan County Commissioner Pete McKay. Bennet called his bill a, quote, balanced piece of legislation that brings together local businesses, ranchers, landowners, and outdoor enthusiasts to reflect the diverse interests of the region. Bennet said this bill is a credit to the diligence and vision of the people of Southwest Colorado, who care deeply about the future of our public lands and the San Juan Mountains. I look forward to working with members of the committee to advance it in the weeks ahead. The wilderness designation would extend some of the strictest federal conservation protections to the range's most prominent peaks, including 2 14ers, Mount Sneffels and Wilson Peak. Additionally, the bill would designate 11 areas in the San Juan National Forest as wilderness or special management areas and would prevent mining in Natarita Canyon.
Reported by the Durango Herald, a Texas man who shot and killed another man in a marijuana robbery was convicted Wednesday of first-degree murder. Michael Jones, age 20, will spend the rest of his life in prison as a result of the conviction. He was also convicted on 3 counts of robbery, 3 counts of menacing with a deadly weapon, and tampering with physical evidence. A 7-day trial began August 13th in 6th Judicial District Court and concluded Tuesday with closing arguments. The trial was overseen by District Judge William Herringer. A 12-person jury began deliberating about 11:15 a.m. Tuesday and reached its final verdict at around 10 a.m. Wednesday. Jones fired the gun that killed David Gayton, age 34, on May 14th in the Lightner Creek Mobile Home Park, 907 County Road 207, Lightner Creek Road, a few miles west of Durango. Jones, along with 2 co-defendants, Kevin Goff, age 27, and Elise Rios, age 19, set up an illegal marijuana transaction and intended to rob the people of the marijuana rather than purchase it, according to prosecutors. But prosecutors said it was a planned robbery, and Jones brought a loaded weapon to a drug deal, pointed the gun at his suspects, and ultimately pulled the trigger. District Attorney Christian Champagne said he is proud of hard work prosecutors and law enforcement put into the case.
From the Journal, original Colorado Politics, photo credits to Yvonne Simone, Bonnie Jo Mount, Washington Post file. A new forecast from the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation shows signs that water levels at Lake Mead, which supplies water to 3 southwestern states and northern Mexico, could drop so low by next year that it could eventually result in a demand for more water from the Colorado River and from the upper basin states, including Colorado, that rely on the Big River. The ever-increasing shortages in those 3 southwestern states could eventually mean water shortages in Colorado, too. The Bureau of Reclamation forecast estimated that Lake Mead, located on the Nevada-Arizona border, will need a release of 8.23 million acre-feet of water from Lake Powell, which is about 300 miles north on the Arizona-Utah border. Both reservoirs rely on the Colorado River for their water supplies. That water release, likely to happen by 2020, will keep water levels at Mead at around 1,075 feet. That's the minimum water level required to supply enough water for the 40 million residents of Southern California, Nevada, including Las Vegas, and Arizona, including Phoenix. Why would that matter to Coloradans, especially those on the Front Range? Lake Powell is Colorado's insurance policy, says James Eklund, the Colorado representative on the Upper Colorado River Commission, an interstate agency that includes Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, and New Mexico. The commission manages the Upper Colorado River and is working on what to do when water shortages downstream start demanding more water from its upstream source. A healthy Lake Mead means a healthy Lake Powell, because Lake Powell stores water for Colorado and its fellow upper river states. The Colorado River not only provides water to Nevada, Arizona, California, and northern Mexico, it also supplies about half of the water that comes out of Front Range faucets and sprinklers. That happens through a series of tunnels known as Trans-Mountain Diversions that cut through the mountains and over the Continental Divide and eventually fill many of the reservoirs along the Front Range. The time may be coming when Colorado will be asked to share more of its water with the southern states. There's also financial risk tied to shortages at Lake Mead that could affect Colorado and its Upper Colorado neighbors, said Taylor Hawes of the Nature Conservancy. Once Mead drops and Powell drops with it, that could impact Powell's ability to generate hydropower, and that means money. Hydropower at Lake Powell generates revenue that repays the Bureau of Reclamation for a variety of water-related projects in the Upper Colorado states. If that revenue goes away, or at least drops substantially, that is a bill that Colorado taxpayers will have to cover for projects tied to Endangered Species Act compliance, for example. The underlying issue, Hawes said, is that the western states is in a 19-year drying trend. One thing that might help stave off the shortage, or at least help all the 7 states better prepare for a shortage, is drought contingency planning. Hawes said also points to the drought contingency plans being prepared by the interstate agency as a way of preparing for what it is coming, but there is one other plan that has not yet started, and that is one specific to Colorado. The state of Colorado needs its own contingency plan. And once the Upper Colorado plan is in place, Hawes said it could look at, for example, statewide curtailment or reduction of water use once those region-wide drought plans are implemented. Conservation is another tool the Colorado citizens will also have to embrace more than they do now, said Ted Kowalski, who is with the Walton Family Foundation's Colorado River Initiative. The urgency at Lake Mead, on the cusp of a declared shortage in 2020, means we need to get our house in order on how to meet obligations by reducing water use, Kowalski said. He has been involved in a system conservation pilot program started 3 years ago with a pool of money from Denver Water, the Walton Foundation, the Bureau of Reclamation, and other water providers. Under that program, farmers, ranchers, and cities willing to conserve for the benefit of the entire system are paid to do so. The cost has not been cheap. The first 2 years, the program cost $11 million. The third year was $10 million, and this year the program will need $14 million. As Kowalski sees it, the cost is small compared to what the Colorado River means to the nation's economy. It represents about 20% of the nation's GDP, he said. If the program launches on a grander scale, it could ensure water sustainability for the southwestern United States, he added.
Reported by the Durango Herald, a jail escapee was captured Wednesday after an hour-long foot pursuit up and down the Animas River Trail north of downtown Durango. The chase resulted in lockouts at Durango High School, St. Columba School, and a daycare center, said Commander Ray Shoup, spokesman with the Durango Police Department. A reverse 911 call was made to some residents in North Durango, he said. Marty Kelly Yazzie, age 30, is suspected of walking away from his work release program sometime between noon and 12:15 p.m. Tuesday at the Durango La Plata Senior Center. La Plata County government notified the public of his escape Tuesday afternoon. Someone reported a man matching Yazi's description at 7:56 a.m. Wednesday. The man was reportedly sitting on metal stairs leading up to Riverview Elementary School at 2900 Mesa Avenue, Shoup said. A police officer tried to approach a man matching Yazi's description, but the man took off running toward the Animas River Trail, Shoup said. Yazi was found about 9:15 a.m. hiding in bushes in someone's yard in the 100 block of Alamo Drive. He was arrested without incident, Shoup said. And now let's take a look at the weather.
So the national weather patterns are showing a high-pressure system over the western U.S. with a new pattern of rain pushing down from Canada and into the Pacific Northwest. An area of rain and thunderstorms remains over most of the central U.S. with severe storms possible over South Dakota and Nebraska. And most of Texas is clear for now with some rain possible along the coastal line. A high pressure moves in across from the Midwest into the eastern U.S. with a small spot of rain lingering over southern New York State and then over Florida and along the southern coastal region. Our regional area hazardous outlook states northwest flow will usher in some drier air for the day today. Still, a few showers and thunderstorms will develop in the higher terrain during the afternoon hours with a lightning and isolated heavy rain risk possible. A drying trend will move in for Friday and early in the weekend before another push of monsoon moisture moves in later in the forecast period. Our today's 5-day DCTV outlook. Today, a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms after 1 p.m., mostly sunny with a high near 81. South winds 5 to 15 miles an hour, becoming west in the afternoon. Tonight, patchy smoke before midnight, mostly clear with a low around 55. West-northwest winds 5 to 10 miles an hour, becoming east-southeast after midnight. Then Friday, mostly sunny with a high near 84. East-southeast winds 5 to 10 miles an hour, becoming west-southwest in the afternoon. Friday night, partly cloudy with a low around 58. West-southwest winds 5 to 10 miles an hour, becoming southeast after midnight. Saturday, partly sunny with a high near 83. South-southwest-southeast winds 5 to 10 miles an hour, becoming southwest in the afternoon. And then that Saturday night, a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms before midnight, mostly cloudy with a low around 58. Sunday, a 10% chance of showers and thunderstorms afternoon, mostly sunny with a high near 82. Sunday night, partly cloudy with a low around 57. And into the work week, Monday, sunny with a high near 82. Monday night, partly cloudy with a low around 56. And Tuesday, sunny with a high near 83. Tuesday night, mostly clear with a low around 55. And now, back to the news.
According to the Durango Herald, BP American Production Company is contemplating pulling out of the San Juan Basin natural gas and oil field in what could be another devastating hit to the economy in southwest Colorado and northern New Mexico. In a letter sent Tuesday to employees, Dave Lawler, BP's chief executive officer of its U.S. lower 48 onshore business, announced plans to sell assets on the San Juan Basin as well as the Anadarko Basin in Oklahoma and Texas and the Arkoma Basin in Oklahoma. The letter was anonymously leaked to the Durango Herald and confirmed by BP officials. Lawler wrote that BP intends to sell assets in these natural gas and oil fields as part of a plan to divest $5 to $6 billion to help fund the purchase of U.S. shale oil and gas assets from global miner BHP Billiton. BP's purchase of BHP's assets for $10.5 billion was announced in July and marked a major turning point for BP, which will increase its onshore oil and gas resources by 57%. The move, however, could cost millions of dollars in revenue as well as hundreds of jobs in the communities around the San Juan Basin, which have been reeling for years with a downturn of the local energy industry. The San Juan Basin is a natural gas and oil field that spans across northern New Mexico and southwest Colorado. It was once one of the leading producers of natural gas in the country.
Representative Scott Tipton, Republican from Colorado, released a statement describing the importance of a new designation. It's called the Opportunity Zone, of which Dolores County has been allocated that distinction. Here's how he describes what this means to a community for economic development. He wrote, quote, "The Opportunity Zone program allows states to assign 25% of their lowest income census tracts as opportunity zones. A census tract is an area with 4,000 residents or less, and to qualify as an opportunity zone, it must have a poverty rate of at least 20% and and the average household income must be 80% lower than the state's median household income level. And that's Dolores County. In March, Governor Hickenlooper and the Colorado Office of Economic Development and International Trade announced the nomination of 126 opportunity zones across the state, with 44 of those zones located in Colorado's 3rd Congressional District. The Opportunity Zone program will work in the following way. When an investor makes a profit from the sale of a business or stocks, the tax liability on that capital gain will be deferred or even possibly eliminated if the investor chooses to reinvest that profit in an enterprise located within one of the designated opportunity zones. More simply put, this program offers investors an incentive to invest in distressed communities to create economic opportunities in them. New investment in these communities would include new or expanded businesses bringing more jobs and revenue to the respective communities. That increased revenue could then be used to fund critical local projects, including rebuilding schools and infrastructure and supporting emergency services and law enforcement. The Economic Innovation Group estimates that there is a total of $6.1 trillion in unrealized capital gains, held either by American families or corporations. If investors reinvest even just a portion of that money back into these communities, the impact could be significant for communities in the 3rd District and across the state.
According to the Durango Herald, a surge in New Mexico's income linked to an oil boom may give legislators an extra $1.2 billion to work with as they craft the next annual budget, state economists announced Wednesday. The windfall comes as New Mexico officials grapple with a court order to shore up funding for public schools to meet basic educational standards and a recent downgrade to the state's credit ratings based on mounting public pension liabilities. Economists from 3 state agencies and the legislature reported a nearly 15% increase in general fund revenues for the fiscal year that ended June 30th, a growth rate the state has not seen in more than a decade. Oil production gains on relatively high energy prices are expected to continue driving continued growth in state government income, the forecast said. Tax revenue and other government income is expected to surpass annual spending obligations by $1.2 billion during the fiscal year that begins in July 2019, according to a report from staff at the legislature's lead budget writing committee. General fund spending for the current fiscal year is set at $6.3 billion. The income outlook marks a sharp turnaround in state finances. A little more than a year ago, Governor Susana Martinez and state lawmakers scrambled during a special legislative session to close a budget gap linked to the lingering effects of a downturn in oil prices.
Reported in the Dove Creek Press, source Tammy Barr. The Town of Dove Creek Board of Trustees held their regular meeting on August 16, 2018. The new business on the agenda started with Lois Oliver regarding the water dock. She voiced her concerns over it not being user-friendly, wanting it to be more accessible. Currently, users must improvise through a small tube or hose to get water to their tanks. The hose does not reach in many cases. She looked at other systems in the surrounding areas, and she feels our water dock needs a halo and a longer hose. Mayor Brett Martin agreed and addressed the sanitation department in questioning why the hose is the way it is. Town employee Dagan Chad informed the trustees that in order to stay within state regulations and prevent contamination issues, they were forced to shorten the hose length or pay a fine of $10,000. With no backflow prevention on the pipe, shortening the hose was the quickest way to comply with state law in the time allowed. Chad discussed the backflow parts required for the backflow measures and suggested it would cost upwards of $18,000 to upgrade the whole system. Mayor Martin pointed out this would increase the cost for the users, and then Chad suggested a water dock discussion at the next trustee workshop. Second under new business was the first reading of Ordinance Number 213, Series 2018, an ordinance providing for tasting at liquor stores or licensed drugstores. Approval of the first reading was unanimous and scheduled for final decision on September 20th, 2018 at the next regular board meeting. The trustees discussed the applicant going through the procedures properly, and if they are within state compliance, the board will issue a license. The motion to approve the tastings ordinance was unanimously approved. Next up was reading of the Ordinance 214. and Series 2018, an ordinance for flood damage prevention. The trustees focused their discussion with the town attorney on why flood damage prevention ordinances are required by the state. The first reading of the ordinance was approved and the meeting moved to employee reports. Recreation Director Christy Chad provided updates from the summer program, Pee Wee football, and the Rural Philanthropy Days to be held in Cortez September 12th through the 14th. Jared Hemphill was called from Animal Control to report having to deal with 4 raccoons in town. Mayor Martin would like to make the community aware of the raccoon situation and warns the public to keep away and not pet them. Town Manager Irvin Frazier discussed the Knuckles driveway setback distances required and the need to issue a variance. There was discussion on pipeline updates to comply with USD rural development requirements, pumps, lines that need to be fixed, water rights issues, and getting community support were included in the discussions. The final discussion included being more specific with code enforcement and the confusion caused by the ad in the newspaper. There's a planned roundup in the spring tackling weeds, trash, and all the easy stuff first, he said. They briefly talked about places high on the list for debris removal that are also problematic for actually going in and enforcing code violations. The next meeting is a workshop on the first Thursday of the month, followed by the regular town board meeting September 20th at 7 p.m.
According to the Cortez Journal, a college in the Four Corners is finalizing a nearly $25 million partnership to build student housing. The Daily Times reports San Juan College officials are working to close a deal that would bring a student housing complex on its Farmington campus for 380 students. Executive Vice President Edward DePlas says the San Juan College Board of Trustees this month authorized College President Tony Pendergrass to finalize a pre-development agreement with Balfour Beatty Campus Solutions. The proposed site of the complex is set for the college's fire tower on the northwest corner of its Farmington main campus near the soccer fields. Construction is projected to start in spring 2019 after the fire tower is demolished. The building may be completed for the fall 2020 semester.
Today's High Canyon Country happenings. Wild Edge Brewing Collective asks you to join them Friday, August 24th, as they release Bloom and Bramble in 750 milliliter bottles. This is a barrel-aged sour with hibiscus and locally grown raspberries. This beer was both fermented and aged in French oak for 7 months with Brettanomyces and Lactobacillus. Bloom and Bramble pours a deep red color with moderate carbonation. The aroma and flavors are strong with raspberry and tropical flowers, a hint of oak, and a bit of funk to round it out. This is a bottle-only release, no drafts. Bottles can be consumed in the tap room or be purchased to go. $17 a bottle, $170 a case of 12, 1 case per person. They're located at 111 North Market Street in Cortez, and that's available from 2 to 10 p.m. August 25th from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m., it's Halden Wofford and the High Beams, hosted by the Dolores River Brewery. Halden Wofford and the High Beams bring their boot-stompin' Rocky Mountain honky-tonk to the brewery on Saturday night. Cover is a mere $10 hippies, it says. And don't forget, this Saturday, Dove Creek, August 25th, is the Rat Rod Car Show at the State Line Bar and Grill. Registration starts at 9 a.m. to 1. Enjoy the day on the patio with live music by the Young Band till 6 p.m. And then 7:30 until who knows when, it's VDJ plus Ultra rocking the tunes and flashing the lights. There will be food and drink specials and always a great time at the State Line. All of the happenings are posted on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with the YouTube replays, weather, original stories, and local posts. To share your event or information, contact us at dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station at 970-677-4119.
Thanks for tuning in. News at Noon airs at noon Monday through Thursday and then is available online on our YouTube channel and our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page on demand.
Be sure to like us there on Facebook and join in on the news of our area. And of course, please share it with a friend.
For Kendra Cook with DCTV and the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.